The breastplate of righteousness deals with our standing with God, our relationship with Him, and understanding our identity of who we are in Christ. Knowing forgiveness and acceptance in Christ, that we are able to enter His throne of grace daily without any fear, and knowing that His favor is upon us. And we can reign with Him as kings and priests, sons and daughters in heavenly places, being confident in His presence, being able to worship Him without any guilt or condemnation, and understanding that He forgives us totally through His sacrifice on the cross. So today on the Sandals of Peace, let me begin by asking you, are you weighed down and burdened with lots of cares, worries, fears, confusion? If you are, I've got good news for you today, because God has given to you the Sandals of Peace. And the purpose of the Sandals of Peace is to build emotional strength in you. John 14 verse 27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives, but let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." Peace is a guiding compass, because in Colossians 3:15 and Philippians 4:7, it tells us that we need to allow the peace of God to rule in our hearts, the peace that passes all understanding. Jesus is called the Prince of Peace, and Yahweh Shalom, the Lord our peace. And if we allow Jesus to reign in our hearts, then we will have His peace. The word rule in our hearts is the word brabio in Greek, which means umpire, director, or arbiter, as in a public Greek game, like in the Olympics that we are experiencing right now. So the word rule is umpire. Let His peace be the umpire or the guiding compass to help us navigate through our life. When you're going in a particular direction and you lose your peace, it's an indication that God is not in it and you need to change direction. Peace is stronger than the storms that you are facing. Are you experiencing storms in your life? Well, do what Jesus did by speaking to it. Peace is always stronger than your storm. In Mark 4:39 to 40, it says, "Then He arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, 'Peace, be still.' And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. But He said to them, 'Why are you so fearful? How is it that you do not have faith?'" So as we begin to speak peace to our storms, expect our storms to calm down. The Sandals of Peace, the preparation of the gospel of peace, is meant to build our emotional health. Many Christians who know their Bibles well are emotionally weak and unable to cope with challenges in their lives. The peace of God is meant to strengthen us emotionally and dispel negative emotions such as fear, anxiety, worry, suspicion, confusion, and anger. Peace is not the absence of trouble, but a positive element that drives out negative emotions and could even change the atmosphere that's around you. You can walk into a room that is full of strife, and the peace that you carry can calm that storm. Jesus tells us in Matthew 5 verse 9 that we are to be peacemakers. Are you a peace-loving person? Do you jump into conclusions easily and initiate quarrels? What are the elements that generate strife in your life? God has called us to be peacemakers, not troublemakers. 1 Timothy 3 verse 3, chapter 3 verse 3 demands that a bishop or overseer, in other words a leader, must amongst many qualities not be quarrelsome, but a gentle and peace-loving person. Are you that kind of a person? King Saul was not such a person, because he was full of envy and strife, and he sought to kill David, who was rising in his authority. God had rejected him from being king because of his disobedience, and an evil spirit was sent to torment him. Out of his sense of insecurity, envy, and jealousy, Saul took out his frustration on David. There are many peace robbers in this world that try to rob us of our peace, and they come from the devil. We need to learn to identify our peace robbers. Some of the peace robbers could be fear, worry, anxiety, confusion, broken relationships that result in hurts, resentment, anger, hatred, and even ungodly perfectionism can rob your peace. Perfectionism is good if it is handled in the right way, but wrong perfectionism can destroy your life. Meekness is a secret to your peace and rest, as found in Matthew 11:28-30. It says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest," Jesus says. "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Meekness is total submission to the will of God. Meekness is not striving to do our own will but God's. It's no longer I who live but Christ who lives in me. It simply means coming to a place of being God's bond slave and steward. It means you own nothing. Naked you have come to the mother's room through your mother's womb, and naked you shall return, as stated in Job 1 verse 21. As we come to the end of this session on the Sandals of Peace, we will do our spiritual exercise. Let's put our hands to our feet, symbolizing that we are putting on the sandals of the gospel of peace. And as you do that, begin with the notion that you are standing before the Lord with His hands outstretched to you, wanting to carry your cares, anxieties, burdens, confusion, fears, or anything that robs you of your peace. Thank the Lord, our Yahweh Shalom, that as you cast all your peace robbers to Him, He exchanges them with His Shalom peace and rest. Let the spiritual exchange begin. Receive with thanks His beauty for ashes, His oil of joy for your mourning, His garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Speak to the storms in your life like Jesus did. Peace, be still to the storm, and expect your storms to obey your command. Name your storms one by one and speak peace to it, be it a relationship conflict, business turmoil, depression, or confusion. Take some time today to soak in His presence, where His love, joy, peace, and glory dwell. May God bless you as you put on the sandals of peace and change your life.